it's going to be an awesome time. But sometimes people say, Mark, I already heard about Greece. I've actually had people tell me that, hey, you kind of keep talking about Greece. As a leader, there's two things, okay, that will maximize your growth in our business. Okay, it's one, are you a product of the product? What that means is, are you going to be in Greece? Are you running for the next promo? Are you a member and you're traveling? Like, be a product of the product. So if you're selling skincare, are you using the skincare? Are you able to speak from it? If you're buying you're selling nutrition, are you trying to get in shape? You know what I mean? Are you changing your eating habits? Are you using the nutritional product so you can speak from experience? Well, Dream Trips is no different. Are you a product of the product? Are you in the game? Are you plugged into everything we're doing? Are you committed to going on the next trip? Okay, that's step number one. As a leader, that's step number one. Step number two is absolutely communication. So being plugged in is so that you get, you're getting the communication. So you're a receiver. Okay, this is important. A lot of people don't get this about leadership. You need to be a receiver. Okay, so we're the transmitter as the company. We're transmitting the information to you. Here's the runway. Here's the trip. Here's how you qualify. Here's how you make money in the comp plan. All this, here's the new product, it's trades and travel. Here's the new membership. So we're transmitting the information to you. You're the receiver. So plugging in, and write this down in your notes, all leaders need to be led. Okay? All leaders need to be led. Never forget that. Leaders, never forget that. Mark Smith, I need someone to follow. Well, I'm following right now. I'm following the direction of Josh. What's he doing? Is he moving left? Is he moving right? What's MDC doing? I'm plugged into everything. Listen, I'm plugged into everything that Josh Schwagel's doing because I want to know everything that's going on in MDC because how am I transmitting it to you? Right now, I'm a receiver. I'm receiving the information from MDC. Okay, we got a new Akashics membership, blah, 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 blah. I'm taking in all the information. I'm receiving it. Now, guess what? I'm able to transmit it to you and you're receiving it. Why? Because all of you need to turn around and then lead your organization. You might have one person. You might have 10 people in your team. You might have 100. You might have 1,000. But eventually you become the transmitter and your team is the receivers. This is what's called the daisy chain of leadership communication. Okay. It's very, very important because if there's ever a breakdown where someone is not receiving and transmitting, they can't be considered part of the hierarchy of the transmission. So in other words, if for example, let's say I'm transmitting a message to a leader, they're receiving the information, but they're not paying attention, or they're making a sandwich and they're not really listening, right? Now, when that conversation is over or when that Zoom is over, what do they transmit to their team? Nothing. How do they lead their team? Pretty dang hard. Is their team at an advantage or a disadvantage? Their team is at a disadvantage because they're listening to a leader who's not getting all of the information. So they may only get 10% of the information. If you only take in 10% of the information, how much can you transmit? 5%? So you always want to be taking in 100% of the information, always, so that you can transmit as close to the original message as you possibly can. And so those are very important things. To grow a business, you have to be a product of the product, right? So I'm in the zone, I'm in the game with you. I'm a member, I'm traveling, I'm going to Greece, okay? And then I'm plugged in so I can get all the information so I can be the best sponsor possible, okay, to be able to transmit all of the details to my group. And sometimes, and look, I think I have an advantage because, Tammy and I both come from military families. That's a different way of life, okay? There's higher expectations and, you need to communicate more clearly, even in your family. It's just how it works, okay? And then we became a military family. And what's unique for me is this is where it all happened for me here. I got stationed on the Marine base right here. 3rd Marines here in the United States is right here in Hawaii, right off my beach. This is how I found out about this location. And so it's pretty special for me to be here. Hopefully I can share more unique leadership experiences I've gotten because of this place. And I've been through a lot of academies and, stuff that you go through here in the military. But here's the advantage is in the military, there can be no breakdown in communication. Okay. So if you're somewhere and I say, I'm going to pick you up 3 miles from here at that hill, if I miscommunicate that and you hike all the way to that mountain behind me right there, and I show up with a helicopter to pick you up, and I didn't communicate it the right way, and you went to the wrong hill, you went over there, and I'm picking you up right here, Not a good situation. Okay, so there's a reason in the military. This isn't the military, but there's a reason in the military. Precise, step-by-step communication. No one can get it wrong. And so in network marketing, when I first joined, I'm like, man, there's so much breakdown of communication because you have that. It's not a job, right? You don't have a real boss. You're not an employee. So it's all a volunteer army. See, in the military, you volunteer, but once you're in, we got you. We tell you what to do, right? In network marketing, we're not your boss. So you volunteered to get started, but I'm not your boss. I can't tell you what to do. That's the hardest part of being successful. If I could tell you what to do right now, the majority of you would have major success because I could tell you what to do. Like if you worked for me, I could say you need to do this. You need to read 10 pages of this book or you're fired. You need to talk to 2 people a day or you're fired, right? You need to be on every Thursday or you're fired. Like it's not a job. I can't do it. But if I was able to do that, do you understand the success rate of the amount of people that joined network marketing, affiliate marketing, the e-commerce world that we're in, the gig economy, being an entrepreneur? You know how many people would have success? I mean, it would be the multiple of success that would happen if we could say you have to do this and we were able to hold you accountable, but we can't because you paid a few $100s to get started. We're all independent contractors. We can't tell you what to do. We can suggest what to do. Most people don't do it. If you want to know, I've had so many family members ask me, if it's so easy, how come everybody doesn't do it? Well, who said it was easy? And then I've had other family members say, well, if it's so easy, or if it's so good, how come everybody doesn't make money? Well, not everybody goes to work. Well, if it's so easy, how come everybody doesn't make a lot of money? Well, because not everybody does a lot of work. This is no different than any other area of life. It has a system. It has a rule book. They used to tell people, right? Don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate on someone that's had success in this industry. Hate the game. Don't be a player hater. Be a game hater. That's the game. This is the rule book. It requires this amount of effort. You've got to be coachable. You got to be willing to learn it. The number one thing, it's not hard. What makes it hard is you have to be consistent. And what makes it hard is I can't make you be consistent because I'm not your boss. I'm your partner, right? I'm just another one of the trainers that hopefully can inspire you to go out and do something that's important to you and your family, not for my family. What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your whys? What are your wants? What are your desires, right? And you get inspired by that. And you go, hey, I'm going to listen to this guy, Mark. I'm going to do step 1, 2, 3 because I want this, right? And so consistency is key. But the communication in the military, what I learned is if there was one person, has anyone ever heard a chain is only as strong as its weakest link? So a chain, something that you could pull a ship with, is only as strong as the weakest link. Because if one link in the whole chain is weak, as soon as you go try to pull something heavy with it, that one weak link will break open and the chain will break. Well, in communication and leadership, one single person can break the whole chain of communication through the whole organization. So always be a leader of everybody. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to lead the people I brought in, because there's going to be someone else that brought in people that's not leading. So what happens is that's the break, but they're your people. And so if you always build for the masses on your team, it doesn't matter who brought them in, and you're like, I'm the anchor, I'm the chain, I'm going to make sure there's no weak links, all the communication is going out, it's game over. It sounds so easy because it is, but it's just one little discipline of making sure you're a product of the product, you're plugged in, and you're driving that information, driving it through your organization. Tammy and I's success in this industry has come from finding people that someone else already recruited, that someone else already brought to our organization, that someone didn't work with, that someone dropped the ball in it because we were overly communicating. That someone said, pick me, pick me, pick me. And then I found this person in Maine. I'm like, oh, this guy's a stud. And I drove all the way to Maine while I was still in the military working with this person. That person became a 6-figure earner for years and years and years and years in our business. I had another person. I started working with this person. They were buried down in my organization, and then I got to another one, and another one, another one. One of these guys left a magazine at a truck stop. Right, it was a little magazine about our business, and a truck driver picked up that magazine. Called his brother in New York. His name was James. Okay, I became really good friends with this guy. He called this guy James. This guy James took that magazine to a friend who was a carpenter. His name was Henry. Henry's like, whoa, look at this thing. We can make money with this thing. This is like 15 years ago. That guy took that magazine. Okay, ready for this? He was doing construction on a pastor's house in Queens, New York. I recruited that pastor through this daisy chain. And that pastor went on and became a six-figure earner in that original company. He's still in that company today, Prepaid Legal Services, making six figures, a pastor 15 years later, guys. 15 years later, because someone who got someone who got someone who recruited someone who talked to someone who talked to someone, it daisy chained. But guess what? Tammy and I were at the top of that, looking, communicating, texting, get on the call. Who's that person? Tracking everyone on our team. Like, hey, my name is Mark. Hey, saw you join the team. Da, da, da. Oh, wow. Hey, my brother does construction. He just joined and he signed up this pastor in New York. Oh, wow. Hey, introduce me to him. Boom. That's how I get this. I have hundreds of stories like this, but it doesn't happen unless you take ownership. You are the CEO of your business. This is a real business. One of the challenges with these types of businesses is it's inexpensive to get started. If we said it's $1 million to join Dream Trips to grow a travel community, you all would be floating outside of this canal right now trying to listen into every single training call I ever did because you spent $1 million to start a business. If you spent $1 million to start a McDonald's franchise, you would be working 24/7. You'd be working the drive-through. Your 10-year-old kid would be on a little ladder asking if you want to supersize your fries. Grandma would be in the back flipping burgers. Okay, the whole family would be working at McDonald's, and there's no holidays because you put $1 million to buy a McDonald's franchise, and some of them are 24/7, and you're just go, and you wouldn't even think twice about it. But when we join direct selling, e-commerce, affiliate marketing, network marketing, and we pay a few $100s, we go, okay, cool. Where's my money? When am I going to get rich? It doesn't work that way, right? It doesn't work that way. But our brain is, if I put a lot of money and buy a business, I'm going to take it serious. We pay a little bit of money. If it works, great. If it doesn't, great. That's why it's hard. I just gave you the secret. That's why it's hard. You don't have a boss. You have to have internal motivation. In the military, we call it intestinal fortitude. When no one else cares, when no one else is coming, when nothing else matters, do you have something inside where you turn it on? You believe it before it happens. You literally have what's called blind faith. It is the same faith that you have. There's all different faiths in this call right now. Okay, all different religions are represented here, but they're all tied together for sure by one thing, and that is faith. Right? That is faith. You can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't touch it. You believe it. Some of you believe it so much you can move mountains. Right? It's extremely powerful. Right? So just having that, knowing that it exists. So, I'll keep going all day on this because I really, really believe in leadership and communication and driving it and sponsoring people. Those that I know, I'm going to shift gears in network marketing, in affiliate marketing that have had success. Okay. They've been great communicators. They've looked at everyone that has joined their team as they signed them up and no one else exists. Okay. It's called tact rooting. You go deep into your team and find that next player. Okay. It's also called, you have acres of diamonds in your backyard. You just got to go dig for them. Okay. Don't be surface level. There's links in leaders. Very rarely do I recruit a leader. And did I recruit a leader in my career? I recruited everyone. And some were leaders, very few, and some were links. Most of them were links. They linked me to a leader. 2 days later, 2 weeks later, 2 years later, but I had my shovel and I was digging through my team, communicating, plugging everybody in. I was a product of the product, plugging into all the information on all the calls, on the DTAs, on the training calls, reminding my team every week. Some people, say, oh man, you always have to remind people. A person by the name of Wilburn Smith, he was the president of Prepaid Legal, a very, very sharp guy. He was in his 70s when I met him. And, I used to complain about some things and he'd say, Mark, this is a guy, he probably worth $150 million, this guy, okay? Was a manager at a grocery store, one of the first guys that joined Prepaid Legal, okay? Became the president. And he said, Mark, let me straighten it out for you real quick, okay? How much money do you make? And we made a lot of money at Prepaid. We made millions at Prepaid Legal. And not at first. We went broke. We were on government assistance. We were struggling, almost getting booted out of our apartment. So I want to put that in there, okay? And he said, Mark, I want you to do me a favor. First thing, I want you to stop complaining. I'm like, I'm really not complaining. He goes, no, you're complaining. He goes, you are the most overpaid babysitter on the planet. Guys, I was making like 70, 80 grand a month in Prepaid. He goes, you're the most overpaid babysitter on the planet. And I was like, where's this guy going with this? And he goes, you get what I'm saying, Mark? He goes, you're complaining about having to remind someone and someone did what you wanted them to do and you got to go back and they never do what they say they're going to do. And He goes, it's a pain, isn't it? I go, yeah, it kind of is. He goes, you're the most overpaid babysitter in the world. He goes, get over it. And from that point, I realized, I'm like, oh, so I need to sponsor people long enough until they're strong enough so they can get it, and I can't give up on them. That's what that meant to me. So I just want to pass that message on as I pass this back to Tammy to wrap up today is just be patient with your team, okay? And if your team isn't moving fast enough for you, don't sit there and go broke. Don't sit there and give up on your dreams. Don't sit there and say, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I wasn't born on the right side of the track. None of that, John. Just go recruit more people. Don't let your financial future, don't let your family's destination, don't let you as a dad, as a mom, as a parent, as a grandparent, as a brother or sister, don't let your desire to help your family, do not let go of that. From one dude or one gal that joined your team, it's not going fast enough. They're not paying your bills. They're not retiring your mom. They're not taking care of your children. It's our job individually. That's the only personal responsibility you really have to engage in is you just keep bringing people in. You love your whole team. You love on them forever. You can't wait on them forever. You keep adding people to the team, and you're running with the runners and you're walking with the walkers because it's impossible to run with a walker. It's as simple as that. So sometimes you feel like, oh, I don't want to give up on my team because they're not going fast enough. I need to help them more. No, you need to help them less and get more people and more people and more people. And eventually the ones that want your time will deserve your time. And then you'll go back and you'll grab another one and you'll pull them forward. So it's kind of like this. In the military, leave no one behind, right? So you're going to run at the pace that you need to run as a business owner. You're going to put your arm back like this, and you're going to hold your arm back, and you're going to keep grabbing people from your team. Come on, get up here. Come on, get up here. And the ones that are lagging way back, every once in a while, you circle back around. Hey, how's it going? How's the family? Hey, look, I'm always here for you. If there's anything you can do, anything change in your life, boom. But what are you doing? You're running, and you grab it. Here's another one. I got another one. I got another one to run with us. Another one. Up, one dropped off. You're going to lose one. Every once in a while, someone drops out of the run. You know what I learned? Don't stop running. You'll be the next. With that, I'm going to throw it back to Tammy. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Go check out the brand new trade and travel membership. I'm excited. I know nothing about Forex, and I'm going to go learn it. I've always wanted to learn it, and I'm excited. So with that, throw the call back to you, Tammy.